If you've ever wondered why you sabotage your own success, struggle with confidence, or repeat the same patterns your parents did, even when you promised yourself you'd be different, you're about to discover how your family dynamics may still be running your life, and more importantly, how to break free. Let's begin by taking a deep breath. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly. You're going to need a pen and paper for this, and you might want to pause and stop and start as we go through it. If this topic already makes your shoulders feel tense or your heart beat faster, that's okay. This kind of topic does that. And family dynamics, they live in our bodies, not just our memories. And the truth is, most of us weren't raised in families that taught us how to fully become ourselves. We were taught how to survive, how to adapt, how to keep the peace. And while that may have served you then, it's likely holding you back now. You know the saying, what got you to here isn't going to get you to where you want to go. Part 1, what we inherit. Self-development doesn't begin with your planner or your goals. It begins with your blueprint. Every family hands down a kind of emotional operating system, how emotions are expressed or suppressed, what roles you were expected to play, what was safe to say and what wasn't, who you had to become in order to be accepted, how you had to behave in order to survive. You might have been the fixer, the achiever, the one who never needed anything. Or maybe you were an emotional sponge, absorbing everyone else's chaos in order to keep the system functioning. None of that is your fault, but it is now your responsibility to meet those patterns that are hidden deep inside you with clarity and care. If you've always been the responsible one, it might help to think of yourself like the foundation of a house built in a storm. We build those houses with concrete to try and withstand massive winds. So you weren't built wrong, you were built for pressure. And that survival architecture, it isn't meant to be lived in forever. And so what you're going to see is you're ready to upgrade your house into something that matches how you want to live now. Part 2. Here's how those early roles can show up in adulthood. You downplay your success so no one feels threatened. You self-abandon in relationships, thinking it's love. You stay busy to avoid rest because rest feels unsafe. You don't trust your own intuition unless someone else validates it. Does that sound familiar? These are not just personality quirks, they're learned responses, and they're brilliant because they kept you connected back then. But now they're costing you your growth. You're ready for an upgrade. Part 3 is called the repatterning process. So how do we shift? First, we bring awareness without blame. This isn't about throwing your family under the bus. It's about saying, I see how I was shaped, and I get to choose what I keep and what I add. You're not here to be a reaction to your upbringing. You're here to become a conscious response to your own life. So start with this question. What parts of me did I mute to belong? Then ask, what part of me is ready to come back online? I'd love for you to pause this video here and really sit with these questions. It's not an accident that you're here. This is the work. So take a moment. And if you feel called, I'd love for you to share what's come up for you in the comments, because you never know who else might need to hear what your revelations are and how you might adjust if you were someone that was like you. If you're someone who's had to shape shift your whole life to stay connected, this part might feel especially tender. You might like to imagine yourself like a chameleon in a room full of mirrors, always adjusting, always scanning, never quite still. What it's like for us to choose stillness over survival is a very different biological choice. And if we think about choosing to be who we are versus who we had to be, there's very different. So when you're talking about part 3, it's about change. It's about the power of language. So instead of feeling confused or stuck, say, I'm in my overfunctioning pattern. This was how I coped. I don't need it here. Because when you can see your patterns and you name it, you start to create distance from it. And in that space, you can choose how you respond. The second thing you'll do is we're going to work to reclaim your voice, because all of us have internalized someone else's voice, critical, dismissive. We now have that as our own self-talk. So our job is to rewrite our inner voice as though we're talking to our child or our best friend. We want to make your inner voice a place worth coming home to. The third thing is to create a safe disruption, because patterns don't change by thinking differently, they change by doing differently. So saying no when you might have thought you should say yes, or resting without guilt. These are micro disruptions, but they tell your nervous system, I'm allowed to live differently now. And so here's what I want you to remember. You're not failing at growth. You are in the business of untangling yourself from years of conditioning. Lovingly, intentionally, and on your own timeline, your self-development journey isn't just about building new habits. It's actually about honoring the younger version of you who never had a choice. And you're going to give her what she always needed. You're going to give her freedom, a voice, boundaries, safety. So if something has landed for you today in this video, share it in the comments. Your words might be what someone else needs to hear. And if you're ready to do this work more deeply, know this. You're not behind, you're not too late. You are here, you are becoming, and that is sacred work. If your brain just lit up and you're like, yes, please, more of this, go watch this next video over here. It builds right on what we just talked about.